Hey there, creepy peeps, and welcome to another episode of Terror TV? I can't remember what I called it now. So I'm gonna catch you guys up on episode 3 of The Hunger, iZOMBIE, and The Walking Dead. So, third episode of The Hunger. This one is actually the correct third episode. If you remember my last video on Thursday, I watched one thinking it was the second episode when it actually was like the 21st. So this is actually the third episode, and it's called Necros, and it's about this guy who kind of falls for this lady who has a very strange relationship with this old man, and the locals think he is like the devil incarnate and sucks the life from living people. It's definitely an interesting episode. I keep harkening back to the first one where I didn't understand what the hell was going on. This one I also understood a little better, and it has a nice twist to it. You find out at the end of the episode that it's really not the old man who is the monster, it's the woman. Our main character, Cobb, I think his name is, and the female, Helena, kind of start this relationship, I guess, behind Nero's back. Nero is the old man who everyone thinks is the devil. They kind of start a relationship, and when they finally consummate that relationship, Helena grows like this nasty tail out of her back, and her tongue, it's almost like her spine is extending, almost like it extends like out the bottom and creates this tail, and then extends like up through her mouth, and she sucks the life out of Cobb, and she also sucks the life out of his friend. And what happens is they just become these like withered old men, and basically Helena is doing this to give Nero some people to play bridge with. Apparently he really likes to play bridge, and he needs people to play with. It had a nice twist because the whole episode you're thinking Helena is kind of the victim here. She's kind of trapped with Nero, I guess, and that's what our main character Cobb thinks. Turns out she was the main bad bitch the whole time. And yeah, they don't really establish if Nero is kind of like the same thing as she is, whatever it is. Okay, so in this third episode of The Walking Dead, Rick is finally reunited with Lori and Carl, and I didn't get the confrontation that I wanted to. Can somebody please just tell me that Rick finds out soon? Because I really want to know what happens when he finds out that Lori and Shane were getting it on behind his back. Behind his back, I guess, Shane tells Lori that Rick is dead, which I guess Lori is now going to use against Shane. She kind of disses him and breaks things off with him, saying like he said he was dead and blah blah blah, and I'm like, well, Lori, you didn't exactly protest or anything like that, so I still don't like them, and I really hope Rick finds out soon. We also get a little more of a peek into the survivor camp, I guess, in the mountains. There's some really kind of scary scene where the women are doing laundry, and you kind of get a hint at this dissonance where the women are doing a lot of the housework type things. So they're doing the laundry, and I imagine cooking and stuff like that too, while off in the distance, Shane and Carl are having fun trying to catch frogs, and then the husband of one of the ladies, Ed, is like sitting, like just hanging around smoking and stuff like that, and they're all doing the work. Turns out Ed is a real asshole and starts to confront the ladies, which ends in him hitting his wife, and then Shane, who just had a not so great conversation with Lori, like beats the shit out of him. It's just an interesting look at the survivors camp, how I guess things never really change, I guess, if that makes sense, because the women are, I'm not saying the women always do the work today, like in civilized society, but it's almost like you would think things would be a little different, it being special circumstances, and I guess things aren't all that different. And I don't know, that's just what I got from it. And Rick and the little rescue team, I guess, go off to save Merle, who we assume is still trapped on the roof of that department store. So they go into the city, go to rescue Merle, get to the rooftop, and find that he has cut his hand off to escape. They find a bloody saw, bloody handcuffs, and a hand on the roof. And Daryl is not too happy about it. I'm wondering how he got off the roof, because they still needed to use the bolt cutters to get onto the roof from the door, so he didn't go down the stairs in the building. He got off some other way. Like, it probably didn't end too well, him bleeding all over the place with zombies around. That's just my guess. But that's how the episode ended, on that little cliffhanger, so I assume the next episode we're immediately gonna see what happened. Finally, the third episode of iZombie gets a little darker than it has been. So the past couple episodes, we have found out that when Liv eats the brains of somebody, she starts to adopt the characteristics of that person, along with getting flashes of their memories and things like that. And the past two episodes have been a little lighthearted. Like the first episode, the brains of the victim she eats, she kind of becomes a little kleptomaniac. And in the past episode, she eats the brains of an artist and becomes very like romantic and artsy and stuff like that. This time she ends up eating the brains of a sociopath, which takes a little dark turn, as, you know, she's kind of numb to everything, and she's kind of processing the fact that she should care about certain things, but she can't seem to care about them because she's eaten these sociopathic brains. So we do get a glimpse of not everything is sunshine and rainbows, I guess. He's gonna get quirky or interesting traits from the people she eats. She could eat the brains of a sociopathic murderer, and like I said, it takes a dark turn, especially when her boss from the morgue falls into a pit with a hungry zombie, and she almost lets him die because she just doesn't care, or doesn't care but can't feel empathy. We also take another little dark turn as the zombie that they find in that pit. One is somebody Liv used to know who went to the boat party with her, hence why she's a zombie. But she had been trapped in that pit for so long, she hasn't had any brains, and she's degenerated into what we would recognize as a zombie, like mindless, rotting, and just wants brains. So they kind of conduct an experiment. They give her brains and then they leave her alone. They want to see if a zombie that's progressed to that stage, if they can be brought back to kind of like Liv's state by feeding. Turns out they can't. So they've kind of discovered something new about this zombieism. So now it's become very important for Liv to make sure she is eating brains. Otherwise, if she gets that far gone, there's no coming back. Yeah, I liked this episode. I like that it kind of took a little dark turn, and it's not all like quirky, witty jokes and stuff like that. And we kind of got a grim reality for Liv. So we'll see where that goes. Yeah, so that's all I have for you for this video. As always, I will write an extended review on my website at NightmareMaven.com, which you can go check out should you feel so inclined. And also, if you feel so inclined, you can give the video a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more of my face and hear more of my voice. And until next time, stay strange. Bye.